Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Celine Freeman, Teton Raptor Center's veterinarian, and I'll be taking you through this week's patient update. I will be specifically touching on patients that were not in last week's update. Let's get started. First up is Swainson's Hawk 727 from Afton, Wyoming. As you all know, this is our patient that underwent an FHO or femoral head osteotomy surgery to remove the femoral head from the hip joint about 9 weeks ago. This is a fairly common surgery that we do perform in dogs and cats, but has not been published yet in raptor species, so we are hoping to publish this case study, and we're really excited about it. This patient has been progressing well. We've been starting light flight conditioning and monitoring really closely for limping, shifting, weight-bearing abnormalities, and their ability to land soundly. We are feeling really good about this patient's progress thus far, and because this is Swainson's hawk and they are migratory birds, that have already migrated south for the winter, we're unable to house this bird in our outdoor flight enclosure. So we will be transferring this patient to continue flight conditioning further south for the winter, and then they will be transferred back to us in the spring. And we are currently working on that transfer now. Next up is Great Horned Owl 107 from Jackson, Wyoming. This patient presented to us for a right metacarpal fracture, which has been healing well radiographically. This patient will have recheck x-rays this week, and we will determine through palpation and radiographic evaluation of bone healing if this patient is ready to come out for a splint and wrap to begin self-PT and early flight conditioning. Next up is Great Horned Owl 1016 from Driggs, Idaho, who presented to us with a fractured right ulna. We will be rechecking 3-week post-admission x-rays to evaluate healing of the ulna. This patient will continue PT, laser therapy, and wrap changes 3 times a week. And as seen in this photo, we will provide enrichment to our patients while healing. Enrichment can be in the form of varying diets, mirrors, if it's appropriate for that species, and shredding material. Goals for enrichment vary and can include stimulating natural behaviors for the species or providing mental stimulation. Next up is Red-tailed Hawk 1019 from Wilson, Wyoming with a fractured left ulna and metacarpus. This patient has been admitted for about 4 weeks now and will have radiographs performed this week to evaluate for fracture healing and stability. This patient will continue wrap changes, laser therapy, and PT 3 times a week for likely another 1.5 to 2 weeks before they start flight conditioning. And then last up for this week is Red-tailed Hawk 1020 from Pocatello, Idaho, who has a fractured clavicle and coracoid. This patient is also 4 weeks post-admission, and as you can see in this photo, there is no wrap on this patient. We typically do not need to restrict movement with clavicular and coracoid fractures, and the reason for this is because the avian shoulder is stabilized by 3 bones, so the humerus, clavicle, and coracoid. And this patient will have recheck x-rays in about 2 weeks and should start flight conditioning soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's patient update. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you'd like to make a donation, please go to tetonraptorcenter.org, or you can click the link below to donate directly. Take care.